Today on the 6th, we're going to talk about Celina Powell retiring from OnlyFans. Then we're going to answer the question, are relationships here in 2022, are good, healthy relationships here in 2022 even possible given the state of the sexual marketplace? The panel discusses next. The 6th starts right now. I am joined, of course, by our esteemed panel. Minister Jap is not going to be here today because he's got some stuff going on. So we are going to soldier on without him. But let's go ahead and introduce tonight's esteemed panelist. First up, the man who has 64 different startups. He is the reason why they call Tony Stark the White Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you, man?
Hotep Jesus dude.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Tariq. I'm doing good, man. How about yourself? How you been?
Fucking fantastic.
Yes, sir. Love to hear it. That is Hotep Jesus. Next up is on the docket is Kevin Savo. Now, Kevin, you told us because we were off last week. You told us a couple of stories. The first story you told us was about Valentine's Day. Then you told us a story. You went out on a date with a chick the other day, and she said something to you that was very interesting. So regale us with those stories. What happened on Valentine's Day? What happened with the chick that said she doesn't want to look you up on the internet?
I said I didn't want to say this, but I'll say it. All right.
Let's do it.
I mismanaged my rotation. I'm very good at building rotations, but I'm not good at rotation management. This is part of being a young boy.
There you go.
And two of my rotation girls showed up at the same place at the same time. Then they had each other by the hair and it was fighting.
Oh shit!
So that was fun. But no, I was saying it's funny that this is no longer like a best kept secret thing for me. Like, you guys have been in this world for a long time, so I don't know if I want to call it airing out your dirty laundry, but certainly, like, letting games slide and then letting it out on the internet. I'm new to that, and it's funny that like women that I'm dating now can find me and find these streams, and they can hear the guy talk, and then they can hear that I'm up on games. So it's a little harder to be low key. In the end, I went out on a date with a girl who said, she said, I really like you, but I'm very scared to watch your material because I'd be frightened to find out that you are a misogynist.
Yes, there we go. You know it. Frightened to find out you were a misogynist. That to me, that is the quote of the day. A misogyny. Next up, of course, is the godfather of the manosphere and the newest confirmed speaker at the Conference of Masculine Excellence. It's Rollo Tomasi.
Guilty.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
That's me. How's it going? What's up, man?
Doing good.
I raced back here from the rehearsal studio. I've been recording since 11 o'clock this morning.
Holy shit, you're a fucking machine. Where'd you on Rule Zero?
I know. And then after I'm done with this, I got to go run with the dogs because they're looking at me sideways because I haven't given them their first walk of the day.
Yeah, you got to take care of Ned, or
This
Ned.
Yes.
Yeah, Ned will take care of you if you
and
don't.
Greyhounds, you got to run them.
Yeah, well, they're greyhounds, right? Absolutely. Next up, the incomparable Coach Everett Overton, who, once again, I'm convinced that you shave every day. And by the time, you got a 5 o'clock, no, we don't do 5 o'clock shadows here. EO has a 5 o'clock beard. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Kevin, man, in order to manage relationships well, you got to mismanage them.
Oops,
You do. So that was some good game for you there. So you'll do it better the next time.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is, right?
I should have listened to more of your videos.
Hey, come through. Anyway, good to be back with you guys. Interesting topic.
Yeah, very, very interesting topic. And we are going to start off. I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to start off with a story that I was made aware of not too long ago. And this is the story of Celina Powell. So it appears that Celina Powell is going to retire from OnlyFans. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with who with who Ms. Powell is. Basically, she is, Kevin Samuels describes rappers, professional athletes. He describes that as the industry. Rappers, athletes, NBA players, blah, 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 blah. Basically, anyone of note, the industry. Well, Celina Powell, in no uncertain terms, is pretty much the side piece of the industry. She's been ran through, skeeted in. It looks like these days her tits are lopsided. And by the way, most girls' tits are lopsided to some degree. But Celina Powell has been ran through, skeeted in. Honestly, she's probably got so much male DNA running around in her. She might start to grow a beard after a while. So without further ado, I'm going to let her tell us in her own words why she is, pardon me, why she's retiring from OnlyFans. And if anybody wants me to pause it, just yell pause. Let's do it.
I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded, but a lot of things has happened in my life.
Dude, this girl is so... Dude, you know what this girl is? She is... ignorant. This girl is so ignorant. She says a lot of things has happened. See, this is... And I know I'm stopping this early, but I really want you guys to understand the importance of what I'm about to say here. This is why Myron and Fresh now ask the girls, what is your highest level of education? And the reason why he asks that is because he wants to know what to expect. Celina Powell, honestly, she's as dumb as a poster board. But she was, fortunately for her, I guess, in some regard, she was born with genetic advantages that most girls don't have. Now, she's ruined her body, what with all of the tattoos, and her lips are, I mean, she looks like a duck. She'll probably get so much plastic surgery, she'll end up looking like a cat, but she looks absolutely ridiculous, even though she is still mildly attractive, I guess. I don't know. But yes, Celina, not too bright. Let's continue.
So I kind of just want to talk about that, but mostly about obviously the title of this YouTube video. Lately I have not been happy.
Gee, I wonder why.
Let's kind of dive right into it instead of like beating around the bush. I'm just not happy, and
Gee, I
feel
wonder
like
why.
you wake up every single day with something that's on your mind, and I know it's kind of like a big decision for me to just kind of do it, but after talking to a couple people that have actually helped me make this decision, I think it's time that I just walk away from OnlyFans.
What?
April 2020 was when I signed up, and it was honestly the hardest day of not my life. Like, that's a little traumatic. But it was honestly really hard for me to sign up for OnlyFans. I used to like look down on OnlyFansers, whatever.
I'm gonna speed this up a little bit.
But I did. I used to look down upon that because, you know, I have a real life family, although I don't post them. They exist. And I just didn't want them to see my pussy on anything. Or
Imagine that.
But I was
That wasn't like the first thing that...
Say again, Rolo. Like a very, very good observation.
So I had no choice.
Yes. What were you saying there, Rolo?
That wasn't the first thing that crossed your mind when you said,
yes, it's
maybe OnlyFans. I don't know.
Yeah, and she says it's the hardest day of her life, yet she did it for 2 years.
Sign up over weekends, you know, when you kind of sign up for this like popular lifestyle, you can't just go and work at fucking Taco Bell. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's where I came from. But I'm saying that I signed up for this life. I can't just go back and work at 9 to 5 anymore. So I was in between a rock and a hard place, and
Sure, she can. She just chooses not to.
I signed up for OnlyFans, and before I knew it, I went from having like $1 or something, or $100, whatever, but my bank account, to millions. And I know that sounds crazy, but I did blow through a lot of it, and like,
yes,
knew that money would do. But I also got the opportunity to take care of my family. I bought them a house. I bought them all cars. I just got my nephew yesterday a car for his birthday. And the more I'm doing all this, and the more I'm making money, I'm just not happy with how the money is coming in anymore. I kind of swallowed that pill that, you know, the whole world could just see my vagina for like $4.99. But it's also taking a toll on me in relationships and
Jesus
relationships
Christ.
and how I'm perceived through the public. And although I don't care, not even the slightest, what people think of me, it is kind of like how I think of me. And if I were to
Oh, that's so funny. Law number 24, guys. Law number 24. The more a woman tries to convince you of something, the more likely the opposite's true. I could not care less what people think about me, yet the reason she's quitting OnlyFans is because of what, class? What people think about me. We'll listen to a few more minutes of this, and then we'll get everyone's take.
I don't want to be seen as like some sex object anymore. And I say anymore, I didn't mind 2 years ago when I was getting all of this.
Too late for that.
I wasn't like thinking about like the long term. So now that it's almost 2 years later, yeah, I have money. Yeah, I have anything money to buy me, but I don't have the happiness that I'm supposed to have. As you guys may know, I just got out of a really, really, really tough relationship, and I'm falling out with a lot of girls who, you know, well, lot of girls, but most of them, like a few couple of girls. So I really thought we're like my riders. So I was like, I'm just stuck. I know my career doesn't really affect that, but it does take a toll on it if that makes sense. Because and not
Career.
everybody attached to me wants to be attached to somebody who's known as thought, someone who's known just to get fucked and sell sex tapes in a
Sweetheart, too late for that.
way. I sell pussy. So yeah, you can have all the money in the world and you can buy whatever. And I don't know who made the saying that money can't buy happiness, but I know when you're in a financial bind that quote might seem stupid to you because you think having all the money will solve all your problems. Okay, but then you get all this money and then you realize you have no way to share that with. In a sense of how much you guys understand how I'm feeling these things.
Imagine
it's like
that.
I have all these toys. Every toy I ever wanted in my life. Every toy that Walmart and Target can buy you. But I don't have the batteries to operate it.
Did this bitch just say Walmart and Target?
That's where I am currently at in my life. And I just want to find what makes me happy. I tried to go from only selling sex tapes with my boyfriend. That didn't work, but that didn't work. I tried, only going from.
I love to see the comments on this.
Say what? No, the
Girl,
comments.
you live your truth, girl.
Yeah,
It's
right.
okay.
It's your truth, girl. Tell your truth.
So boring to listen to.
Girls, just me,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is kind of boring.
Could
Okay.
she have lit
Yeah.
her face a little bit better?
Yeah.
Like, what's with the lighting too? She just put a LED light right on her fucking dome when she's making this.
It looks better when you play it for yourself. I think there's
okay.
there's some sort
I
of
don't know.
filter here on.
Yeah, she looked like Michael Jackson.
She looks like that Muppet. She looks like the band in the band.
You know who looks like Michael Jackson now too? Lil Kim. She was a beautiful black girl. Now she's. Michael
Oh
Jackson.
my god, dude, Lil Kim is a travesty. Okay, so
why she did that?
I don't know, because of dark skin shaming.
It's
I don't
Janice from the
know.
Muppets, huh? You know what I'm talking about.
All right,
know.
let's go around the panel. Savo, what are your thoughts on Celina Powell retiring from OnlyFans?
Well, it's an admission to how it feels to, it kind of like indirectly sell sex in a way, or no, or very, very much directly. I mean, I know you're not actually fucking for money, but you're selling pictures of your body. The whole world could see it. There usually comes a time you would think somebody would look back at that and be like, maybe I thought it was cool at the time, but looking back, I may have done too much too soon. I dated a girl, I remember, or not, dated, but I was sleeping with a girl at one time that started OnlyFans, and I was really not put off by it because she wasn't my girlfriend, but I was put off by, I think, the attitude that initially some girls have when getting into something like this. And at least this one that I was dealing with, I remember her being like, I made an OnlyFans. I announced on Facebook to my friends and family that they can get my OnlyFans for $10.99 a month.
Oh, God.
And I just remember her being like, and this was like a relatively intelligent girl until, or at least I would have thought till I heard this shit. And she's like, so I tell my friends and family on Facebook that I started OnlyFans, and my mom is mad. You believe that shit? And I'm like, yeah, that's your mother. And she was like, but Kev, why is the older generation so prude? I'm like, and I guess to me the attitude is what I don't understand as much. To me it's like, do what you want, hustle how you want to, but like I kind of like the attitude of acknowledging that you delve into some risque shit. You know what I mean? Like if you're a porn star that owns the attitude that like, yo, I live on the edge, I choose to do some wild risque shit instead of like doing what Lana Rhoades did. Like I did porn, I made a bunch of money, and now like, oh my God, I was the victim of porn. It's like, no, you made bank. Like you made more money than I may ever see in my life. I'm pretty sure that was a win. Just own it. That like, yo, I delve in some risque shit instead of adapting this weird idea that like it's not a little shameful. Like sometimes you dip into shit that is a little shameful and a little reckless, you know, but have that attitude about it, have that attitude that people in that profession used to have, which is like, yeah, it's a little shameless, a little reckless. You know what else? I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But instead of that, it's like this, it's this, why, but I don't get it. Why do people judge? Why can't I do what I'd like? Why can't I, what's so bad about showing pictures of my body? It's a strange attitude. I think it's the attitude for me.
Hotep, your thoughts on the the not so lovely and not so talented Celina giving up the street life?
So in science, they have a thing called petri dish, right? And the petri dish.
Petri. I'm gonna call you Petri from now on.
Oh my God.
It's okay, baby.
And the petri dish, it's called a culture, right?
Yes, culture. That's exactly right. Oh man,
and whatever.
You did not just start this whole conversation off.
Real talk, real talk.
And when you place whatever bacteria or germ or whatever it is you want to grow, you place it inside of this culture.
Boy. Right.
Let's see what grows.
And here is what we have seen has grown, Rolo. This is what has grown is this, right? And
Science.
she is a product of her environment.
That's right.
Now, what I find is that the prettier they are, the dumber they are. Because,
That's right.
well, their looks have gotten them by, which never created the need for problem solving. Problem solving equals critical thinking, and critical thinking means problem solving.
There you go.
And if you've never been forced to solve problems, boys have to solve problems all the time. They have to solve problems within the hierarchy. They have to solve problems at home. You got to solve problems. You got bad grades, or dad, or whatever it is. But your looks aren't going to get you over as boys, right? So the brain starts to form those bumps. This smooth brain talk that we get from her is a product of her environment, and I feel bad that she grew up in such a poor culture. So I'm questioning, how did she grow up? And that'll tell you much about how she got here. But there's, when she comes to this realization, as many people do when they come into money, because I was a victim of it too, when I landed in the entertainment industry. I was finally, got that. Well, it was a second bag in my life, I would say, and I was probably the unhappiest time of my life. But I'm glad she had this realization that money does not buy happiness, and hopefully this will inspire her to seek more intellectual means of income.
Okay. EO, what you got?
Yeah, that was really nice of you, Hotep. That was a really nice thing to say. You know what? I always say that you either retire from the game or the game retires you.
Oh.
This goes for this goes for every position in the game, whether it be sports or whatever. And it's clear that the game retired her ass.
Yep.
And so you can look at her and see she's jaded, she's tired.
Yeah.
I mean, how much can you get fucked? I mean, even me, I've talked about the downside of being promiscuous. I was a very promiscuous man.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking several hundreds. And it was unproductive for me to fuck that many women.
Yep.
And I could have spent my time more wisely. I think I got enough game. I got enough knowledge from doing that. I didn't need to fuck. Like I said, I would give 250 bodies back to the game if I could, but I can't. I don't regret it. However, it was time consuming. It was draining spiritually. It was draining financially. And look, I mean, you can look at that girl and see that she looks old. I mean,
yeah,
she's
man.
full of synthetics.
Yeah.
She looks like this little Puerto Rican guy I used to go to high school with. And so there was something also that Kevin said that really made a lot of sense. And it was a video I made about Jack Murphy. Is it okay if I talk about this man real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now,
Absolutely.
I don't know this man. I've never met this man. I have nothing against this man. I was actually asked to do a favor by someone close to him to make a video and perhaps just offer my perspective. And the main ingredient to that video was that no matter what you do, you got to own that shit.
Yep.
No matter what, you got to do it with family. You got to do it with friends. First of all, you got to do it with yourself. And if you don't own it, that's why there's a lot of backlash, because you don't own it. Now, clearly she did own it. I'm not saying she did anything wrong. I am saying that the game retired her. You could look at her and see that she's a clown. I mean, this lady looks like a clown.
Yep.
I would advise her to hire Kevin Samuels or someone that could help her with her image. She probably needs to cut her hair, dress different, new associations. She needs to go to different environments. She needs a whole lifestyle modification. Now, I can help her too, but Kevin can certainly help her. But
I don't think she can afford either one of you. Be honest with you.
I'll just say this. It clearly looks to me, with anyone, once your options start to diminish, now you start to panic. Okay, and this woman does not get the same options she did a couple years ago. It's clear. As a matter of fact, if I was a man, I'd be afraid to fuck this motherfucker. So
real talk,
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even touch her, man. I mean, and not to mention she tells everybody's business as we've discovered. So she's a liability. I hope that she can get herself cleaned up. But I just feel that the game retired her. She didn't leave the game. Like Tom Brady, for example. Tom will probably be back, but Tom is leaving. I think Tom has another agenda. But Jordan should have never went to the Wizards. In my opinion.
Yes.
And so,
oh my God, yes.
And that was a bad look for him. He should have stayed out. And so, really, Jordan should have left. And I think the game is retiring this girl. So she's not leaving on her own accord. She's leaving due to her body being all out of whack. She probably has a lot of feminine problems.
Yep.
There's probably a lot going on inside with her ovaries and shit.
Yep.
And that's not me being judgmental. I'm just looking at her and
Those
I
are
can see a
facts.
sick girl. I
Yeah.
see a sick girl.
Yeah.
So mentally, spiritually, and probably physically. So I hope she gets the help she needs.
Petri dish.
Yeah, no amount of help is going to rescue this girl. This girl has, dude, this chick has this girl has so many bodies. She is literally at the point of no return, and you can see the physical effects just now. I don't think this woman is even 30 yet, and she looks like she is tired.
Not even close.
Rollo, your thoughts on Celina?
No, she's not 30. She was born in 1995. I'm looking at her stats right
Oh my
now.
God.
My age?
So she's
pushing
28.
26.
This
28?
bitch is
Oh,
20. Hold on, Alexa. How old is Celina Powell?
She's where's she born? 26. See?
26, June
Damn, she looks
13th of
36. She
1995.
looks 36.
She's my peer.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, here's the thing. It's like
Alexa, stop.
here's the difference that here's the difference I bring to all of this.
Wow.
I go look at stats. I look at numbers.
Right?
And I'm looking at her net worth. They're estimating that she is worth about $1 million as of 2020.
I
And
thought it was
she went to
100.
a Christian- She
It
went
is
to a
100?
Christian high school, so there you go.
Yep,
Maybe,
there you
maybe
go.
it is a spiritual sickness, right?
Yes, it is.
So yeah, I'm just, and this is just what the basic search, I'm looking at, net worth and stuff like that. So, but I first came into contact with this person, or I was made aware of her when she was on Fresh and Fit with Andrew Tate, actually.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize who exactly she was at that time. And then I come to find out like she's involved in some sort of like cheating scandal or something like that with Snoop Dogg. I think
God.
I think I was when you brought her up, I'm like, who is this chick? And then you showed me the picture. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yep.
now I understand who you're talking to.
Yep.
And then she was drunk as hell on that show, and she was like all coming up on Tate that whole time that he was on there. I tried to ask Myron and Fresh, and if they're watching, I wanted to know, did she get castled on that episode? Because I'm damn near certain she almost got kicked off of that show.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if you guys can
I
remember
think she did. But
what Celina
so,
Powell.
yeah.
Okay.
So here's my read on all this. She's 26 years old,
God.
and I think she's been ridden hard and put up wet. So let's just
Shit,
we can just judge that by seeing what we've seen here. We're not supposed to judge women. That's number one.
Shit.
Okay, so we're not supposed to say, oh, she was on OnlyFans and now she's off OnlyFans and now she regrets it, and so now it's this sort of come to Jesus moment where she's like, confessions of the soul, and she's sort of the prodigal daughter returneth kind of thing, and she's wants to get right and everything. If you've read my work, you know that I often peg the epiphany phase for women right around 29, 30, 31 years old.
Yep.
And that's when you're done with the bad boys,
that's
you're
right.
done with hard living and drinking and partying and hookers and blow, right? And right now, I think we're starting to see the first wave or the first generation of women who were acculturated and raised in the internet age.
Woo!
So to be on Instagram everybody's their own brand. Everybody is their own PR person. Everybody, whether you realize it or you don't, it's all brand management. Dating is brand management.
That's right.
She's $1 million, according to net worth. She's worth $1 million as a result of being her own brand. Whether she's doing the managing of that or somebody else is, I don't know. But all I can see is the results, and this is the results right here. So we're seeing the first. Maybe she in my book she's kind of a little bit early, but maybe it's because she's been put through
Yes.
so much,
Yes.
so much. Yeah, right. Takashi, right? Exactly. I mean, look at the history here. Now, here's what I keep telling women. Like when women give me this grief about like, oh, a woman's sexual past shouldn't make any difference. You should, she's a different person. Or I'm listening to this other chump who's like, I forget the guy, like Dear Future Wifey podcast. I forget who this guy is. And he's talking about like, oh, well, I don't care about who you've been with in the past because the girl that I get is going to be a different version of that girl. And she's going to be great for me and perfect for me. And I'm just like, dude, this is exactly why guys like you end up putting a gun in your mouth later on.
Oh my God, that's her body count?
Yes,
No, this is
exactly.
this is her known body
Dating
count.
history.
Dude,
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, Sikkim Kid. I mean, dude, Akon, Aaron Carter, Snoop Dogg, Takashi, Offset,
Aaron Carter's
Academics.
gay, I think.
Yeah.
Dude,
let me
fabulous.
ask you guys this. I mean, at what other time in history can you go and find a site like this and find out what her sexual history is? I mean, even if she didn't bang all these guys,
she
which
did.
likely she did,
Of
but
course.
even if she didn't, it's like that's still what's in her past, right? And I think one of the reasons why we have women trying to convince guys that they're insecure in their masculinity if they give a shit about a woman's sexual past is because of exactly this. This right here is her digital footprint.
There you go.
OnlyFans is her digital footprint. I don't want my family to see my cooter. That's your digital footprint. And you know what? Your grandchildren are going to say, oh, mommy did OnlyFans back in, 2021 or 2020. And here's grandma's body count right here live on the screen, because this is what she had a wild and crazy life. And this is what, I mean, in an extreme, this is the most, God damn it, DJ Academics is on that too.
Yeah, everybody's on this list.
This is,
hell, I'm on the goddamn list.
Digital footprint that you just picked this up right now.
Yep.
It wasn't hard to find out.
Nope.
And so now that's her. Now think of a generation, like the latter half of the millennial generation and all of Generation Z, and women who are now like 24, 25, 26 years old. This is what they're coming into. And when they're trying to find that long-term, provider, a husband, whatever it is, when they're cycling out and they're getting cycled through this, they want to say it's a grinder, it's the society, it's the patriarchy.
Yes.
They did it to themselves.
That's right.
This is on you. And so when she's getting out of OnlyFans and saying, I don't want people to see me getting off or whatever, it's like that's a fraction of what's available about you online, and that's your digital footprint.
There you go.
So how do women counter that? They counter it by saying, don't be judgmental, stop being such a judge, only God can judge me, kind of thing. Or else it's you're insecure in your masculinity if you care about that. In fact, everybody on this panel, just the fact that we're even fucking talking about this right now, people are going to go, oh, what is this? TMZ? What is this? A gossip coffee clatch or some shit like that? I guarantee you comments after this will say that in the comments. Why should we even care about this? The reason you should care is because there's going to be wave after wave after wave
That's right.
of women who did exactly this, who now suddenly we're supposed to have some sort of higher esteem for, because she decided to stop doing OnlyFans because she didn't want mom and dad to see her cooter. That's why.
Unbelievable. Anybody got anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to add something real quick.
Yep.
The funny thing about the body count being public and everything being public is, like you said, she chose to do it to herself. And it just seems as though you can't criticize a woman without being seen as anti-woman. But whether you're a man or a woman, when you do something that risque, expect to be judged and be all in with it and be in bed with it. So you likely want to be that kind of individual. That's what I was talking about. I mean, I know I see porn stars that made a career after porn, and they're not sitting around talking about, oh, porn ruined me and I shouldn't have done it, because they're that type of shameless individual. It really works for them. Right. But when you're an average individual and a young girl at that, in a society and in a culture that's trying to tell you that this shit's okay, it's almost like that naivete brings you to a place where you're doing what people who are internally shameless do. But maybe you're not internally shameless. Maybe down the road, this is something that'll really bother you. I, as a guy, if I chose to do porn tomorrow, I expect each and every one of y'all to judge me. Like, I expect to be judged if I go and make a porno.
Dude, if you go and make a porno, do you know how we're going to judge you? That's how we're going to judge you, because men and women are different.
No, but I would expect some kind of. I would expect some kind of, like, come on.
OTEP would judge you. I'm definitely.
I'm gonna ask you how much money are you making?
I would not judge you at all. I'd be like,
dude, Savo, cut it the fuck out.
Let me say this real quick too about the sexual history, about how we're not supposed to judge the sexual history. This is just a brief side note. I've had to explain this to a girl in my life who liked to bring up like stories of past dudes she fucked, and I told her, you should have never told me that.
Nope.
Because whether you want to talk about whether or not I have the right to judge, let me explain to you why you shouldn't put these things out there to a man you want to take you seriously. I told her, they think it's as simple as slut shaming. This is not as simple as slut shaming. You have just told me by going through a list of guys you fucked, and all of them are losers also, because
That's right.
women love to shit talk their exes.
Yep.
They have no clue how bad that makes them look, because it's like, okay, you just told me you fucked all these different dudes. You were very promiscuous before you were with me, and all of them are losers. So you've told me you let several losers fuck you. That's kind of like a routine for you to let losers fuck you. So now you've said to me that anybody can have you. If you're the kind of girl that fucks all these NBA All-Star players, and like everybody you've ever fucked is a famous musician or a famous athlete, then you've told me that anyone with money can have you. So simply anybody that has the bag can have you.
That's
if you're
right.
the kind of girl that, you know what I mean? If you're the kind of girl that fucks gangbangers, now you've told me that anybody that keeps a Glock in their fucking sweatpants can have you. It's you. So I'm saying I wanted to feel lucky to have you, and you fucking ruined it.
AB.
Well, listen,
I think that's a fair point.
That I agree with. Let me read a few comments here, because the comments are coming in hot and heavy. Dr. B84 says she is mega ran through. You better believe it. Street Fighter 88 says she is making me hungry for pancakes. I don't think she has pancake tits yet. If she gets her implants taken out, most definitely. Ayok Turzak, I guess that pronounced that correctly, with the $4.44 super chat, says she was canceled. Her friend spit on Myron too. What? These fucking bitches, dude. These bitches have no shame.
Can someone in the comments say if she was told off by the No Jumper cat on Fresh and Fit? Was she the one that he told off in that viral clip?
Oh, the black dude?
The dude from No Jumper told off a girl in a famous Fresh and Fit moment. Was this her? If somebody in the comments knows,
that would have yeah, it was Adam. It was Adam 22 and her homegirl. I don't think Adam 22 had
said he doesn't think I don't think she got kicked off. She didn't get kicked off the tape.
All right. All right. I guess they try to remember.
Fresh is the one that returns text, huh?
Yeah. I might
their sleeping schedule.
Yes, I was gonna say, dude, Myron is asleep right now. So yeah, I think it was her friend. I think it was her friend who had the problem with Adam from No Jumper. I could be wrong, but it is what it is. Wolf at NGU with the €1.5 super chat. Appreciate that. Fear to None, $3 super sticker. Leslie Brooks, $10. Says, Rollo, I saw that show you did last week with the PhD gal, whom you told she had to become the man she wanted to marry. It really hit home. Last week, I had my first date in 9 years after seeing that.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if Leslie is a man or a woman, but if Leslie Brooks is a man, then that's bad news, because at that point, your first date in 9 years, I don't know. I'm thinking Leslie's probably a man. Okay. It was Kiki Clout. That's who it was. It was Kiki Clout, the porn star. That's the one who had the confrontation with Adam 22.
That's right. On No Jumper.
But it's funny. Like all these bitches look all the same. They all have the same skin tone.
Celina Powell has been on No Jumper before.
Yes. Oh yeah. Celina Powell's been on No Jumper plenty of times. They all wear the same. They all get the same surgery. They all go to the same doctor. They all wear that same hairstyle. You guys know the hairstyle I'm talking about, where they have like the
Bratz doll, man. They got no nose and they got big old lips. That's it.
It's like they have this ponytail right here in the center of their head, and then they fan it out. That is
a cum slide.
Yeah. Yes. Right. That's the thought. That's the thought hairstyle. Kiki Clout wears it. All the thoughts wear the hairstyles. Okay. So let me go ahead and start off. Let me start off today's show by sort of prefacing what we're going to go into here. So in this community, it's very, very well documented that a lot of people think we're anti-relationship. Don't trust women. Women are this. Bitches ain't shit. They cheat. They lie. They're hypergamous. They branch swing, etc., etc. And so this is more or less what spawned the black pill community, and to some degree the low-level MGTOW community. A lot of guys like to call themselves monks, but really they're just guys who've just decided to check out of the dating market. I used to be hard on those guys because I thought, just, pull up your bootstraps, get out there and get it. But having been out of the game now for going on almost 7 years now, it is so much more difficult than I could have ever imagined. Now, I'd be fine in today's dating market. Would I be in a long-term relationship with any of these bitches? It's possible, but not likely, but I'd be okay. I'm fortunate that I'm in a long-term relationship now, but who knows how long that's going to last. I take nothing for granted. But let's go around the panel here. Are relationships in 2022, are healthy, good, solid, red pill relationships, Are they possible in today's dating market? Yes or no? We're going to go to Hotep first. Is it possible to have a rock solid, healthy relationship where they abide by gender rules here in 2022, despite everything that's against us? Okay, all right. So I guess that's your answer.
It's really a matter of probability.
Okay.
And it's also a matter of geographical location.
Mm.
You know, if you were raised on a farm with no internet, a small town,
Yep.
then sure,
Yeah.
your odds have increased. But if you were in New York City,
Oh my God.
the other thing is too, we have to think about what was the people's upbringing in these relationships.
Okay.
You know, you want to find somebody who was raised by foreign parents.
Okay. Okay.
You know, Caribbean, Asian, African, even South American, you can kind of get away with too, because they have some traditional values. They understand that, you know, they might need to whip up a pot of arroz con pollo.
Oh, don't get me started.
But I think it comes down to the upbringing, man, and you can detect that right away. I think just by you know, I talk about this in my book, and I say if her Instagram feed is just full of selfies, then she's probably full of herself. You want somebody who exactly. You want somebody who has something of value to provide to the world. Now, does that guarantee she's not a hoe? No, absolutely not.
Of course not. Right.
Lots of undercovers. But what that can do is increase your probability if you're getting somebody who has at least some modicum of decorum. You know, the women that are just using their bodies online.
Mm-hmm.
At least the undercover hoe respects herself enough not to be
the undercover hoe. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Not to be out on Front Street. So I mean, we have to start there. You know, what is the upbringing, right? Like we talked about that culture, we talked about the petri dish, etc. So how she dresses is gonna somewhat tell you a little bit about her, because there's a lot of women out here that'll fake the funk. They dress real slutty, and they ain't putting out at all. So you can kind of look at that, but again, the closer she is to the internet, the least likely, the more. Also, here's the big thing: what does she consume? What a person consumes will tell you
who are her role models.
What she'll put out into the world, right? So if she's consuming, and you can tell by her conversation, right? So women on Twitter are better than women on Instagram. The IQ is higher on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So because you actually have to have some form of grammar and be able to communicate,
which clearly Ms. Powell does
language
not.
instead of images.
Yeah, it's language instead of images, exactly. So I would say, you know, start with the women on Twitter, but Twitter is going to give you an idea of what's her conversation like. And the conversation is going to tell you where her brain is.
Okay.
And her conversation is going to tell you, like, is she online talking about, you know, whatever stories coming out on Shade Room, you know, the TV, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, right.
Or is she talking about, you know, socialism, communism, building businesses.
Okay.
Even pottery or baking. You know, a hoe need a hobby. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
my brother Rock says that all the time.
Said hoes need a hobby.
Yeah, if she doesn't have a hobby, then what's getting on your nerves is going to become her hobby, right? She's a lost soul, like the young girl we just saw on the TV, right? A few moments ago. Her hobby was hoism, and that's not a true hobby.
Hoism.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to find somebody who is consuming nutritional items, and I mean physically and mentally, and hopefully spiritually as well. But them spiritual girls is hoes too, and them yoga girls is hoes too.
They're all hoes, bro.
But you want to look at her conversation, the type of conversation she's having online, and if a conversation she's having online isn't edifying, then you're probably gonna have a toxic relationship.
Okay, EO, are solid, healthy relationships, as we define them here in this community, are they possible in 2022? Yes or no, and why?
Okay, so the number one relationship that all men should be in pursuit of is the relationship with himself from up until 35.
There you go.
Okay, up until 35. So your only interest are your own interests.
Right.
And so that's building yourself, building a career, getting your finances in order, making sure your credit is A1, dating a lot of women so you can build preferences and determine what your preferences are. Get that fun out of your system. Date some hoes, fuck some hoes. I mean, as Hotep said, all women are sluts. And I always say that all women have the slut gene. It's just who presses that gene. You know what I mean? And so, most relationships people go into out of desperation and not inspiration.
Okay.
And so I want you guys to be at the point you're so mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, physically sound, your career is, blossoming, so that you don't have to pick a woman out of loneliness, self-hatred, or none of that. You pick it simply because you have a vision that a woman should be included now. Okay. Now here's the problem with that too. You guys are gonna have to pick boring women to be with.
Yes. Okay? Oh yes.
I said this at my CME speech. If you want an early heart attack, go after these dimes.
There you go.
If you want a prosperous, peaceful life, date a boring woman. And I'm talking boring like where you have to be okay with boring. And by boring, I don't mean that doesn't have to involve any type of excitement, because I find peace in just monotony.
Yes.
Personally,
yes.
I'm to that point now where just the quiet and watching birds eat out of a bird feeder. Now I'm 42 in May, but that is a beautiful experience for me. And so I would have to pick a woman who equally will want to sit next to me and watch birds eat out of a bird feeder. I can't have a bitch who's scrolling social media, downing bottles of wine, while I'm sitting here and enjoying some peace and quiet.
Right.
So you have to know what works for you. And so how are you going to do that? Well, it's because you don't commit to anyone early on, and you commit to yourself. And then by the time you turn 35, you have a very good idea of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And so can relationships be successful? Yes, if you follow this system, yes, the potential is there. But again, you can't pick, you got to pick a woman who wants a simple life. Her excitement is, honey, what color would you like me to paint the spare room?
There you go.
That has to be her excitement. And if her excitement is, let's try this out, let's go out to this new restaurant, let's go to the city, she's going to drive you fucking nuts.
That's
and
right.
You know whose fault that is? If you pick her, you're on.
Okay, I agree with that totally. I've said many, many times before that women fear peace more than they fear chaos. Today's women thrive in chaos. And a lot of guys, and we'll go to Rollo after this, a lot of guys think they want an exciting woman. And when EO says, listen, you want a woman who's boring, you're not actually saying you want a woman who's boring. No, you want a woman who is steady. She doesn't need all these crazy highs and lows to feel anything. You need a woman, and a lot of guys think, I need a woman who's exciting, who's going to keep me on my toes. No. Those women will drive you to an early grave. So I agree with you on that. Rollo, is it possible? Now you've been married for almost
25 years.
Almost 25 years.
Last July. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
25 years, man. And a lot of people are like, well, Rollo tells guys not to get married, but he's married. That's hypocritical. Well, you got married 25 years. It was a very different world. It was a very different world.
3,000 years ago.
Yes. 20,000 leagues under the sea.
I get it from all sides. And what I'm about to say is probably going to piss off a lot of one side anyway.
Let's do it.
Surprising.
Piss them off.
Everybody, my paradox is this: is people will say I'll get black pill doomers and everyone or whoever, and they'll say, well, Rollo can't be red pill. He's married.
Oh God.
And then I'll get trad cons who will be like, Rollo can't be married. He's red pill. He hates marriage.
Right.
Like they can't believe that that I've been with the same woman for 25. Well, actually 26 and a half years.
Woo.
But they don't know what my history was, right? I always talk about my rock star 20s and stuff like that. My notch count is public knowledge. It's like 41, 42, somewhere around there. And I was running game when there was no such thing as game, right?
Yes.
It was rock stars in the club game in Hollywood back then. So
Andrew Schultz says Rollo Tomassi can't teach you how to find love. That's what
exactly.
That's what Andrew Schultz says. He says Rollo, he could teach you how to get laid, but he can't teach you how to find. He doesn't teach you how to find love.
Are you fucking
Sorry.
kidding me? This means that
Sorry to interrupt. I just had to
no. But this just means Andrew Schultz doesn't watch anything because
No,
Rolo
yeah.
shows you how to
No.
find love. Myron and
He
Fresh
just
shows
doesn't
you how to
know.
get laid.
Yeah, he just doesn't. These guys are just, they're confident in their ignorance.
Oh,
Sorry, Rolo.
God.
Sorry, Rolo. Go on. I just thought that was
They are
hysterical. What he
fine.
did that.
They're confidently ignorant because they don't read my work. They don't know anything about me. They have no earthly clue. Like, what's funny is you'll hear these guys talk shit about me, and then it'll be like, "Oh, he's married for 25 years," and then they got nothing to say.
Yes,
or then they'll go,
right.
Well, how can he talk? Yeah, how can he be a dating coach then? I'm not a dating coach.
It's
You know?
always something, man. And real
Yeah.
quick before you go, it's always something. First it was Donovan's not really black. Then I showed myself. Then I start talking about Devin. Devin doesn't exist. Then I showed her. That's not the same woman, not the same body. I mean, it's always something.
No, and so as a result of that, I'm out of. I don't really care at this point because I'm just going to say what I'm going to say, and you can take it however you're going to take it
There you
because
go.
I can't win with some people. So, when we talk about successful relationships, I tend to agree with Hotep right now for this generation because what people give me grief about the most is they think that I'm against marriage, and I've never been against marriage. I've never said, "Oh, marriage sucks. You should never get married." Right?
Okay.
I think the institution of marriage is fantastic. It's been what's socially enforced monogamy has been the bedrock and the keystone for Western civilization for a very long time. However, when it comes to like evolutionary perspectives, it's being parentally invested in your own children has been something that has been a key part of the success of our species, right? So I can't sit here and go, oh yeah, I'll never get married, never pair bond, just fuck a million women until you die. That's not going to come out of my mouth. But I have said this before, and I'll say it one more time right here: is I am not on board with the way we do marriage now. And
there you go. Get it on the record.
Well, I mean, in the social media age right now, as I said before, everyone is a brand manager of themselves. When you look at a girl like a woman like Aisha Curry, who is with Steph Curry,
oh my
who
God,
is on like Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith, talking about how she still wants to look sexy and still wants to be on Instagram. You are with Steph fucking Curry,
right?
You are with a guy who is a confirmed high value dude. You have kids with this guy.
Apex Alpha.
Still not enough. It's still because it's what does it call it? Correct me. I'm probably going to say this wrong, but is it the paradox of choice, right?
Okay.
They think they have so much more choice than they actually do.
No, you said that right.
Women egos are like overinflated. It's because of this perception of choice in a global sexual marketplace, courtesy of social media, courtesy of Instagram, courtesy of Tinder, courtesy of Bumble, courtesy of Hinge, whatever you want to call it. And it's this constant churning cycle to keep even married women in with the idea that perhaps they're not with the right guy. Even if the guy is Steph Curry or Russell Wilson or God knows whoever else who is this confirmed alpha dude with millions of bucks. And on top of that, it's, they're going on and broadcasting this. So when we talk about, men and women coming together, so here's my ideal. Ideally, I've said this: men and women are better together than we are apart.
I agree.
100% firmly believe that. We are natural, innate complements to one another. We evolved to be complements to one another. If you look at how our brain, the architecture of our brains, which now we have access to in the 21st century, you can see that the way that our brains are wired and the way that women's brains are wired complement one another. Oh my God, actually that might be a thing, right? So when I say a woman should only ever be a complement to a man's life, never the focus of it.
That's right.
That kind of coincides with what Coach Eo has been talking about here for a while. I've been saying that since day one. Is you have to you want a secret to a healthy relationship. Here's how you do it. You have polarity.
That's right.
You are your own person and she is her own person, but you complement one another as well. I hate it when I listen to someone like Oprah Winfrey or God knows whoever else or some other girl regurgitating the same crap. Relationships are hard work. No, a good relationship is fucking effortless. Absolutely effortless, because she knows what she's supposed to do and you know what you're supposed to do, and you're comfortable in your own skin and you're comfortable in those roles. When I met my wife, when she was just my girlfriend, she used to hand me the keys to her fucking car when we were going out on a date. If we were taking my car, I'd drive. She'd hand me the keys to her car.
Wow.
If we're going in her car to go to whatever restaurant or whatever where we're going that night. because she expected from day one for me to be in the driver's seat. That's and then I think I can think of like maybe 2 or 3 times in 25 years where she has been driving me. I think when I got my wisdom teeth pulled, right? I couldn't drive home from the expect to drive herself.
Wow.
She's the only woman who ever
There
did
you
that.
go. There
And so,
you go,
and
man.
I consequently, and I believe this, like back in my blue pill days, I believed exactly what all these other guys believe. Like you want to talk about Andrew Schultz at H3 and the rest of these schmucks right now.
Yeah, schmoes.
All of these guys, I think they believe in egalitarianism. They believe in equal, like she's an equal partner and we're going to be equal this and equal that. That is a key to disaster. That is exactly the way you go to divorce court right there, because a woman cannot look up to you if she is your equal. She wants to admire you. And anyone who has ever met me, and like Donovan has, anyone who's ever met me and my wife together, and we've been out together, like I think it was Sterling Cooper said this on Fresh and Fit. He says, I can't believe how Mrs. Tomasi just is always looking up to you. She's just like, can't believe she's with you kind of thing. It's like, yeah, my wife admires me. Because we have that kind of like, I don't say synergy, but it's like we have a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
And I know what I'm supposed to do. She knows what she's supposed to do. And she's a complement to my life. And yes, I do agree with you 100%, Hotep and everyone else, is you got to have a woman who has hobbies.
That's right. Hoes need hobbies.
Side of whatever. Like my wife and I, we raised a daughter. We have our dogs. That's, we have mutual interests as well. My wife likes to read. She's on top of her game. She's not like going to be an astrophysicist or anything like that, right? But she's intelligent, and we talk about some really good shit, right? It's good to have that as well. Can you have that in the 21st century? And I think that you can. It's just that you got to figure that shit out before you get to that point, and then decide that that's what you're after. Because most guys will tell you this, and I'm sure this is going to end up in the comments. They're going to say, well, all these chicks ain't nothing but tricks and hoes, right?
Yeah, right.
They're all ratchet ass bitches, and none of them are worth your while. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. And I will tell you this right now, is that you're not going to find the perfect chick.
No,
there's no such thing as a turnkey relationship.
Oh, wow. No way.
You have to make it the relationship that you want to. And if she's not on board with that, then you have to be good enough to say, you know what? This ain't working. I'm out. That's what I mean by polarity. You still have to be your own person, and she has to be her own person, and you have to enjoy each other's company. Man, I am still very much in love with my wife.
Yeah.
I still want to bang my wife. I still want to, go and have fun with her. We goof off and be stupid about things sometimes, because that's just what we do, right? How enjoyable is that to have somebody who is like, we share common interests, but we don't share other interests.
It's fantastic, right? Man. Like, speaking as a man who's in a long-term relationship, and dude, me and Dev have had we've had dinner with you and your wife several times, and it's funny what always ends up happening is you and I end up in a conversation, and then they end up in a conversation, right? Just because that's just the man-woman thing to do. Savo, what you got? Is it possible? Now, I know you kind of fumbled the ball at the 5-yard line. What with your harem management? Yes, but no, listen, you're a young buck, and these things happen. You're out here in the field. Is it possible to have a solid, healthy, long-term relationship the way we describe it here in the sphere here in 2022?
So the way I view relationships and view considering a relationship myself is there's the girls I want to bang, and then there's the girl that I think might make good partner material.
Okay.
And the girl in my mind that makes good partner material has like next to none of the traits that the girl I want to bang has. I look at it separately. I think most people do. I think women think, this is the dude you want to fuck, and this is the dude that's like a little bit more husband material, like based on credentials and things like that.
Sure.
Same thing a man thinks, hoe versus a housewife. But what I think is the way people engage in relationships are based on feeling. I think, when you take betas into account, then you have men and women both. For the most part, like when we're talking about simps and women, you got a lot of men and women that are looking to engage in a relationship based on feelings, like what feels the best.
Yes.
And what's the most exciting and what's the most endorphin raising. So I don't think people engage in relationships the right way. They don't engage in it like a business. And me personally, when I'm ready to settle down with a woman, it is going to be for the purpose of this woman and I work well together. I mean, I've had scenarios that came close to that, but never actually like a serious committed relationship because I'm too young for that. I think after 35 would be best. I agree with that. But I'd be looking for someone, who works well with me. Like I'm talking about who am I going to run a household with?
Real talk.
There
we go.
I'm talking about structure.
Yeah.
And I have no dream of trying to structure a hoe. I have no dream of like, but a lot of guys do. A lot of guys try to mold a partner out of a hoe, and that's kind of the Captain Save a Hoe mindset.
Can't turn a hoe into a housewife, bro.
But I think girls kind of be trying to do the same thing. Girls kind of like, will chase that piece of shit,
Okay,
looking for loyalty from the piece of shit because he's the most exciting. So I guess what I'm saying is young people especially, but most people in general, prioritize excitement in this category. In this category of
up with Celine, I mean, I could call Fresh right now. We can get you. I mean, she doesn't seem like a good one.
Celina, yeah, holler at Celina. You feel me?
Well, she's a retired hoe, right?
Hoes never retire.
Right? Oh my God, I've had so many girls say that to me. Like, I'm ready to be your girlfriend. Like, I was a hoe, but I'm retired now.
Put you up if you're into it. Maybe she's.
You guys are the same age.
She's ready to turn.
I thought the bitch was 40.
But that's the main thing. I think I've said this before that
older than you.
Right. I think, look, I've said this before. There's a question that people don't know how to answer. The question is this: why are we unable to do what our grandparents did? Because my grandparents were married at my age. Why? So people ask that question and can't seem to find the answer. The reason is because my grandparents treated it like a business.
They didn't have the option that we have today.
Well, there's that too, but there's a core part of it where a relationship used to be looked at like a business. Like I'm gonna be the man and do my thing, and she's gonna be the woman and do her thing, and we're trying to work well together. Like my grandfather didn't want the baddest bitch in the club, and it's like it's
smart guy.
Kind of yeah, no, it's a different kind of thing. So I think if people viewed it that way, they'd have a lot more success. But I mean, women in particular, and then like even simps on the male front, are looking for an endorphin raising, fucking never ending roller coaster of like fun and excitement. And that's not like that's not life. That's not a relationship. That's not how you run a household. That's not how you create a family. And sometimes I think of it that way. Look at all the families that were spawned out of two people just wanting to have fun. And well, now those people who barely know if they could work well together, and in most cases can't, are now going to like raise a family. But if a family's born out of structure, you have a much better result, right? So people got to separate the two. Go out and have your fun. And then when you're done having your fun, you got to settle down with somebody who, first and foremost, you can work well with. Fuck all the other shit, the excitement. You know what I mean? You want to be able to have decent sex with them. You want to be able to be attracted to them to some degree.
Sure.
But as far as prioritizing the excitement part of it, that's foolish.
Okay, very good.
One thing I'll say about that real quick that I've noticed about women is that women have a long-term memory and men generally have a short-term memory. So the problem is if she's fucked a lot of dudes and there's been a lot of attachments, it's hard to wife her up.
Yep.
She cannot turn that off. She cannot acid wash like Hillary Clinton. She can't acid wash her emails. So that's a problem. That's a potential problem. As I spoke on boredom and as we all did, it's this girl Celina that just retired, that the game retired her. She's gonna get bored real fast.
Yep.
And whoever deals with her is going to have a fucking headache, unfortunately. Now, could she change? It's possible. I don't want to, discount that and take that away from her, but it's going to be a big
She'll unretire.
One that most women cannot settle into. And to the hobby point that everyone brought up, the best hobby to ever have a woman perform are duties that you give her.
Real talk. That's it.
So that's why I say after 35, if you're running a business, which the possibility of running your own business is very great these days, if you can start a successful business and you can get her on board and she is ecstatic to work for you, man, all of her hobbies are going to be assignments that you give her, and those are the best hobbies for a woman to have.
Okay, I'm going to read the super chats, and then we'll have the last question for the panel. We'll keep today's show high and tight. Rebel 5150 with the $5 super chat says it would be easier to try to convince Putin to stop invading Ukraine than to try to have a good, healthy relationship in today's landscape. I would agree with that. Rashid Griffin, $5 says, all I can say is I can't wait till the new Medea movie breakdown because all I can say is, yikes, I don't know about that. The Tinder Swindler himself, Simon Live with the $2 super chat says, salutations. Appreciate that very much. Still I Rise, $2 says, EO out here like a 90s Coke dealer. That Fila is fire. I love it. I love it. Looking like Willie Falcone and Sal Magluta down there in, the Cocaine Cowboys Part 2. Okay, so
Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at it either. You know what I'm saying? Oh wow, Leo's got the pipes there. Okay, all right. So let's. This will be the final question for the panel. What is the biggest obstacle? What is the biggest obstacle for men and women as far as relationships go? I'm gonna go first. The biggest obstacle for me is the smartphone. The smartphone is, and of course the smartphone has the internet. I guess we can say the internet, but the smartphone is the biggest facilitator of infidelity in human history. Not only does the smartphone, it's flattened the world, it has made it easy to cheat and easy to cover it up. I remember there used to be apps. I don't know that there are there anymore because I don't really look for them like that anymore. But I remember I downloaded this app that every time one of my side bitches was calling or texting, it would give me an alert that my battery was low. So if my phone was out of reach and my girlfriend at the time was near it when one of my side pieces was calling me, she'd be like, "Oh, Alex, your phone is your phone is dying." I'll be like, "Oh, let me go put it on the charger," and then I'm hitting the side bitch back. This was 10 years ago. I can't even imagine what kind of technology is out here now. So while the smartphone has facilitated most, if not all, of the infidelity, I think that the internet and the smartphone are the biggest obstacles for many, many reasons. Let's go to Hotep. In your opinion, what is the biggest obstacle for solid relationships here in 2022?
Yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yourself.
Okay.
I remember I was in not the bestest of neighborhoods, but I was hanging with the homies, and there was a girl who had just got out of a detention center, and she used to bully all the boys over there, whatever. But I'm a grown ass man. I had kids and shit like that, so like that shit didn't phase me. And then one day she tried to check me. I just looked her dead in the eyes. I said,
"Bitch,
I'm not your age."
Oh,
simple as that. And I never had a problem with her again. When she saw me, she called me sir and treated me with respect, and she bullied everybody else. But I don't play them little kid games.
Oh no,
right?
no.
So you I think there's a phrase that says you teach people how to treat you.
That's right.
And you got to check it at the door. Sometimes we allow good behavior and we don't check it the instance it happens. But there's a certain way you have to check it. You can't check it from an emotional perspective. That's men's biggest problems. I always say when a man argues with a woman, it's two bitches fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have emotional arguments with women. In fact, many of them, the toxic type, that's what they want. They get off on seeing you come out of character. They get off and they also get turned off at the same time. It's kind of like really weird. But yeah, they're testing your masculinity sometimes too, just to see, can they knock you off your square?
Yep.
So it's a test, right? I remember I was like 16 at the time. This girl pissed me off one time, and I got real angry. And she was like, "Oh, I love it." She got turned on, but we were kids, right? So kids,
Sure.
they
do whatever.
They express it in different ways or whatever.
She loved it though.
She loved it.
Yes, she did.
She loved it. She just wanted to see me angry for some reason, and I didn't understand it at the time. But anyway, how you're able to maintain, I call it equilibrium. How you're able to maintain your cool is going to permeate throughout all of your relationships. You teach people how you deal with problems and how you deal with adversity and chaos. For example, like when we talk about meditation, a lot of people teach meditation, kumbaya, all that stuff. And everybody's a spiritual guru when things are perfect.
Right?
The birds are tweet, the sun is nice. Let me see you be a spiritual person, when it's time for road rage, right? Somebody cut you off, right? Can you, in that moment, control yourself, right? And it's in times of adversity that you find out who your character is. So you think you're great when times are, in times of peace, but in times of war, that is who you really are, right? That, like, when you push to that next level, that is who you really are. And again, people are different around different people. So
they are.
How women act around other men is not how they're going to act around you. So you can set the tone for the behavior of the relationship around you. So I think, if you ever want to have a peaceful relationship with a woman, you got to have a peaceful relationship with yourself. That's
Okay.
kinda like what EO talks about.
Okay. I like that. I like that the biggest obstacle is you. EO, that actually sounds like an answer that would come from someone like you. So, I mean, do you agree, disagree? Anything to add?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything he said. There was something that Rolo said that I really love, and that I also teach is, you know, his wife looks up to him and admires him. And how do you get that? Well, you get that from a woman who actively campaigns for you for a long time.
That's right.
You know, if you reward a woman with a relationship, even just a relationship, or even just your time in the beginning, I mean, you want to give her some time because you want to see if there's something there, but you know, you don't want to abandon the self and to do that. And so, you know, it is highly important that a man doesn't over campaign for a woman, and that she does that. Really, it's in her best interest to campaign for you. Now, that's not, again, that's not to say where you're just sitting and putting her on ice and you're just pretending to be busy. No, it has to be authentic. But even my mother told me this. I was sitting with a bunch of friends when I was younger, and she looked right at me and said, "Boys, I want to tell you something. The woman has to love you more than you love her, or
That's
it'll
right.
never work." And so, but again, even love is different. You know, men and women shouldn't even love the same. I mean, it's a different type of love. And so, what I would say is, please begin train yourself. This is going to sound a little cheesy, but I really do mean this, and it's worked for me tremendously. I chose women based on looks early on.
Yep.
And I didn't get a lot to show for it. Now I choose a woman on character and lifestyle and behavior.
Yep.
Does that mean I'm sitting with an ugly woman? No.
No.
But does she have to be a fucking knockout? No. And I don't give a fuck what the next man thinks of it.
Okay.
And so, and by the way, you know what I get at the beginning, I'm going to transform anyway into the physical,
That's right.
mental, and emotional products that I like, without you know, turning her into a robot. But I would encourage her, and then if she's really into me, as I would hope that every man in this chat room finds a woman who is head over heels in love with you, and it never stops. She always has butterflies in her stomach when you call, when you text, when your car pulls up in the driveway. If your woman isn't, you know, fixing herself up a little bit, and she doesn't have that stare in her eye when you walk through the door, you got the wrong woman.
Okay.
And I truly do mean that. So in closing, train yourself to build a masculine character within yourself, someone who is more compassionate. Again, I think men should be compassionate, generous,
I agree.
helpful, valuable,
Yeah. Bountiful,
not
you know.
naive or foolish, but there should be a caring for what's going on in your community. I mean, to some degree. That it shouldn't be out of balance, but you should care to some degree, because what's going on out there at some point is going to affect you. But in becoming that man, you're going to then notice that same energy from a woman like you.
Right.
See, but if
Right.
you're a dude that
Right,
picks a
right,
woman based on, you know, how many Instagram followers she has, how big her titties are, how fat the ass is,
Oops.
then you're
I'm
kind
guilty.
of you're leading with the body too much, and eventually that is going to backfire.
Yes. Listen, I was a young boy. Listen, EO and I think, are probably the same person. We just don't know it yet. I used to choose women based solely on their looks, and a lot of our critics and detractors make the mistake of doing the same thing. Savo, in your opinion, what is the biggest obstacle? The biggest obstacle to good, solid, healthy relationships here in 2022.
At the moment, what's coming to me is I want to say the culture that's twisting men and women's roles.
Okay.
Personally, I do believe it interferes. I mean, Rolo would tell you that he's studied this shit up and down the block. I mean, people
Right.
can say that the outside influence only reaches you so much, but it makes its way into your household. It makes
Of course.
its way into the lives of people, and so now there's a different expectation, you know, in the minds of women, of like, you know, what a man should be, what he should be for you, and what he should allow and expect from you. And it could tip the scale. It could really tip the scale in terms of what a person desires. But I stick to that initial point for the most part, that most people are just pretty unwilling to pick a stable person in the first goddamn place, because that's not exciting enough. It's hard for people to pick between stability and excitement, which is pretty much the EO's point that he just wrapped up. So in my opinion, that's always going to kind of lead to disaster. I mean, I think that more people that can view it more like almost like a business relationship of love and maintaining the household, that's a little bit better than like an exciting thrill ride. Because if you want that, stay single and then just fuck around. There's your exciting thrill until that shit gets old. I'm not quite at that point, but I'll be where you guys are at some point eventually.
Yeah, you're
have
young
a
guy.
nice quiet girl with big titties. You go.
Yes,
She can be
absolutely.
nice and quiet, and she likes to paint.
Oh no, you gotta have them
all that,
titties.
but-
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, it's just like a chick that's got like, oh, he's got to be tall. Well, I got my thing.
You know what? She could just keep a Victoria's Secret bra on 24/7, push those motherfuckers up.
Boom.
Pretty much.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Rollo, in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest obstacle to good, solid, healthy relationships here in 2022?
Oh boy, where do I begin?
Oh, boy.
First and foremost, genuine desire. That's
Uh-oh.
defines a good relationship.
Yep.
You need a woman who has a genuine desire, like a validational sex rather than transactional sex. You need to be the guy, and women need to find the guy, I should say, because we're going to look at this from both sides. But you need to be the guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck.
There you go.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. Genuine. When I talk about genuine desire, a lot of people think that sounds kind of campy and stupid and everything. It's like, no,
but that's the basis.
The single most important thing you need in a good relationship. You want a ride or die girl, right?
That's right.
You want a girl who says, you know what? There's a qualitative difference between a woman who says, I want to have babies and I want to have his babies.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be married to that guy.
There you go.
I want to be in a relationship and a marriage with that guy, not, oh, I'm 32. It's time to get married. And you'll do. Come on over here. You look like you have good prospects, that kind of stuff. You want a woman who is into you because you answer what I've said in the past is called it's the hypergamous question. It's hypergamous doubt. Is he the best I can do? And when you're the guy that is, I am the best that she can do, that's when you get the ride or die girl. And that's when you get that genuine desire. And I think that finding that, or guys being interested in that in the first place, you will never get to that if your belief is that we're both equals. We're both egalitarian.
That's
and
right.
I'm going to be equal with you, and I'm going to, whatever. If that woman can't look up to you, then forget it. And she can't look up to you if you are her equal. She can't admire you if you are her equal. You have to be more than her. And if you want statistical evidence for this, all you have to do is look at all these bitches complaining about, can't find an economically attractive guy. He's got to make 58% more than I do. That's not burning desire.
No.
That's logistics.
Yes.
Women want to marry a lifestyle. They don't want to marry a guy. You want to be the guy she wants to marry, not necessarily the lifestyle that she wants to marry. Most women don't care about the guy. They care about the lifestyle that they're marrying into.
Right.
And then you get shit like Kanye West right now.
Woo!
Lifestyle that Kardashian wanted to marry into.
That's right.
And now it ain't no more fun. And the lifestyle is not what it was. And now she's done with this guy. And people go, I can't believe she'd let him go. I can't believe this is happening. No, well, you better believe it, because even at the highest level, doesn't make any difference.
Nope.
Lowest level, highest level. If she can't admire you, if you are not the guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck, then you're not going to be someone that she can admire and she can look up to and be proud of. And I liked what EO said here just a minute ago. Ask yourself this question: is this bitch going to talk shit about me to her girlfriends when she's at girls' night out, or she's hanging out with her girls and everything like that?
Yeah.
Because you listen to women. Like, he's an eavesdrop on whatever, they will talk shit about the guys that they are with. And my wife has said this several times. She says, I cannot believe the way these women talk about their men. I would never bring. And the fact that is something that like bugs her. You're it. That's it. You're good. That's okay. You're in. We're married. I'm in love with you. Because I'm the guy that she feels weird about if other women are talking shit about their husbands or their boyfriends or whatever when no one else is around and it's just her and the girls. So that's another side of things. And the reason why that happens is one of the biggest obstacles to a healthy relationship is that women fundamentally do not appreciate the sacrifices a man has to make to facilitate her reality.
Ooh, wow.
To be the guy that says, you know what, like, in spite of all of the downside risks that I am taking by being a high value man, by vetting you and having standards for you, by having all of these assets as a strong, conventionally masculine man that women look up to and want to be with, in spite of all the dangers that are inherent in me committing to you as a woman, and especially marrying in Western societies right now. Think of the risk that even a just the average guy takes. But if you're a high value man that all women claim to want, and he says, you know what, honey, I want to marry you, you better goddamn appreciate it. You better say, you know what, I can't believe my luck. You better be praying to God or thanking your lucky stars to the day you are in the grave that this guy said, you know what, I know the dangers. I know I could lose half my stuff. I know I could do this. I know that marriage in Western society is an unconscionable contract, and no one would get into it despite anything else. And despite all of that, you know what? I still feel this way about you, and I still feel like I'm going to take that risk in spite of all that shit. Women will never understand that unless they're made to understand that. And I said the same thing on Fresh and Fit the other day. When we're talking about a good, healthy relationship, that woman has to know what the conditions are. And in today's society, men have more power, more maneuverability, more control over their lives outside of marriage than they do inside of marriage. Ooh. And we can see that evidenced in the abysmally low percentage of marriages today. It's like 6.1 per 1,000. It is as low marriage rate as has ever been recorded when they started recording it back in the 1800s. Shit. And why is that? It's not because guys are on marriage strike or women are like, holding out for number one, or they're, focusing on their careers. It's not any of that. It's a fact that men don't want it. It's just logistically, it doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
So when a guy says, I love you so much, I'm willing to take that risk, I'm willing to lose everything for you, women better goddamn fucking appreciate that. And guys, I'm never going to say, go get married today, because we're talking about relationships here. I'm not talking about getting married at this time.
Right.
So if you want to be in a long-term relationship, most guys will never want to get married simply for the fact that it is all downside risks.
That's right.
And ladies, if you're with a guy who wants to be in a relationship with you, but he doesn't want to marry you, that's probably why. So until we have like marriage reform in some way, I don't know how that starts or what begins that, that process. But until we can reform the marriage industry, because that's what it's become.
That's right.
Until we can reform the all downside risk for that guy, you're gonna see marriage rates are gonna be super low. You're gonna see divorce rates. Women initiating 70% of divorces because they are incentivized to do so.
That's right.
And in spite of that, I'll say, you know what? All that risk, all that stuff, I'm surrendering all of this power because I am that much in love with you, and I think you're a ride or die girl. You better fucking appreciate it.
Genuine desire is definitely one of the main ones. So Dev just came in here, and she took a shower and everything, and she just came in here to.
Did you bring that water?
I didn't know that Walter. Not only she brought the water earlier, I had no idea that Walter was in the studio, but she just walked in here with a super short A-line pink skirt, black halter top, so it shows literally everything. So Devin, when she does that,
I want to believe that.
yes, well, you're gonna have to. When Devin wants to get smashed, that's what she does. She throws out the bat signal. She's like, all right, okay, I want to get smashed. Guys, that's what genuine desire is. Okay, let's tell the people where they can find you. Hotep, lead us off.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hotep Jesus. Also check out our blog media outlet for men, menoforder.com. A bunch of great articles, and check out our new section that covers summaries on the Joe Rogan podcast. Shout out to Jev,
yes,
who curates that section as well. That's menoforder.com. Thank you very much to the panel. Great discussion tonight, and thank you, Donovan.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Savo.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Savo. You can find me on the Adventures of Savo sitcom that
yes.
Rolo and Donovan also guest star in with me. Also, if you want to see my receipts and the girls that I put to work because my business is film, that my rotation stars in Savo. Like all the girls are
damn right.
My girls that play in Savo.
Absolutely.
You met one of them, Donovan.
Yeah, I kind of figured she was.
Yeah, and also if you want to head over to Rolo's channel and check out the stream I just did with him and my brother Rocky, we're promoting an NFT that we're trying to make sort of like could serve as like the Nike check logo of the Manosphere. We're trying to take control of the Manosphere from the inside and have a logo that can battle the feminist NFTs that are going crazy, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit probably the next time I'm on with Rolo. But yeah, it's a really interesting project. We're trying to do something from within that Rolo is attached to before somebody from the outside does it. So that's something you can go and check out on Rollo's channel. Also, we have a really positive Discord, a lot of positive conversation going on in
Good.
there. And
Good.
some of our Discord guys are in here right now. So thanks for watching.
Perfect. Rollo.
Hey, wow. Tomorrow I'll be on my channel at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. As always, I'll be doing my live stream. I've got a few ideas for topics, so I don't want to like say which one I'm going to do just yet because I might actually not do all of them.
Don't we all, right?
I mean, it's getting to the point where I can like do like red pill potpourri, you know?
Yeah.
A red pill roundup, you know?
Yeah.
So that'll be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. People are just going to ask me about this anyway. So the 5th book is with Amazon right now.
Yes.
Probably have it back. I would say probably midweek next week.
All right. Okay.
Assuming that everything is okay and I don't, it's crossed all my T's and dot on my I's, I think I should be able to get it going pretty soon. I mean, even after I approve it, it takes a while to put it back up, put it on Amazon.
Okay.
And I'm still deciding whether or not I'm even going to do Amazon right now. I wanted to get it approved because I could very easily just release it in like Gumroad, but I don't want, I kind of want to make sure that I'm ready for Amazon too. So that's coming up very soon. Book 5 is the Player's Handbook.
Yes.
Got it tomorrow. And I don't really. I was on Mark Bell's Powerhouse podcast on Wednesday. I don't know if it's out yet. Do you know if it's out yet, Kev? Because
I keep checking.
It was a pre-record. It was pre-recorded.
You know what? It's probably backlogged.
It's probably it should be out soon. It should be out any day now. So follow my Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and I'll let you know when it comes up. But yeah, I was on with Mark Bell and Nassim, I think is the guy he does this podcast with. Really good conversation. I was expecting them to come at me because I know they're friends with Michaela, but it turned out to be like a really good conversation. So,
good.
That's coming up soon. I'll let you know when that hits. Goes live, and I think that's it for me.
Okay, perfect. EO.
Yeah, good show today. I want to thank Donovan first for always putting together a very professional show.
Thank you.
So I don't know if I've ever complimented you on that, but you do a very good job. I was really impressed by the commentary tonight. It was good. I don't listen to Rollo too much. I just haven't had the opportunity, but I'm going to give you some time now because I really enjoyed what you said about your woman looking up to you, admiring you. That's a really good game right there. And so I really enjoyed that segment. And Hotep, when you said 2 bitches arguing was probably the one of my favorite ones today too. So 2 bitches arguing. The only thing I'll say is, to Rollo's point is something I push all the time. A woman has to feel extremely grateful to have you. And I'm talking about where she's thanking you daily, thanking you for the small things, crying because she's so grateful. I'm talking literally crying in front of you. And I know that sounds extremely arrogant potentially to a lot of people, but it's just that outpouring of appreciation that a woman has when she does have that genuine desire.
That's the only way it works, man.
Yeah, and guys, you're wasting your time if you're not dealing with a woman who doesn't feel that way for you. You're wasting time, money, and you're getting a lot of unnecessary mental and emotional wounds that you just don't have to take those L's, man. I mean, go after a woman who is really, really into you, and you should be in good shape. So I'm Coach EO, man. Come on through. You'll see my big head if you search me.
Yes, sir.
I've got quite a few series for different men, and
I'll tell you, man, just on that really quickly, one of the best compliments my wife ever gave me was she told me like at one point, I think my daughter was in high school, and she goes, "I hope our daughter meets a man like you."
Wow.
I hope she
beautiful.
gets together with a guy like you. She said, and she was like almost on the brink of tears when she was saying that.
There we go.
She was probably listening to some other bitches or some shit that was going on.
Hey, I say something real quick before we wrap up?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what's cool? I was just realizing I feel like I'm in a band because all of us are you can see us live, all of us in May in Miami.
That's right. Every one of us. Yeah, everybody on the panel.
We're coming to town, so come out, see us live, shake hands.
Yes, take pictures. Yeah, every one of us on the panel. We have all been confirmed for the CME. I'm going to round out the rest of the speaker list. I'll have the affiliate links finished, I think, by tonight. I think Devin might be done with that. So of course we'll be sending those out, and we'll of course have the marketing and everything. Fantastic conversation. My thanks to all of the gentlemen on this podcast. Thank you to all of the super chatters and the audience. That is going to do it for this edition of The Six. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.